Ready?
I got my Thor meat tenderizer here.
1, 2, cold.
To be a real burger pro, you have to understand the different ways to dial up flavor. Attaining Burger Lord status involves more than just a fancy cast iron or a spatula. It involves science. That's why I'm teaming up with the modern gastronomy guru, Dave Arnold. Dave's going to pull back the curtain on must-know burger concepts that I'm going to bring to life. Dave, welcome to our Burger Show Burger Lab.
Thanks for having me.
We have like cool things, colors.
Right.
We have our really high-tech cookery, and we have lab coats.
Nice. All right.
What do you think?
I mean, yeah, sure.
If you guys don't know who he is, he'll tell you why he's here.
So I founded this thing called the Museum of Food and Drink, which is kind of devoted to the history, culture, science, technology of food. And also for many years, I've worked on how to use technology to make food and drink more delicious.
And also you created the Searsall.
I use the scientific kind of ideas to create tools for people in the kitchen. Cooking is a lot like science, a lot like chemistry, in that, there are a lot of things that, if you understand them, help you achieve better results. Not that you need to know it in order to cook, but it's helpful. It helps hone your observations.
We're doing this burger show. I'm eating some of the best burgers in the world, but I wanted to explain why they're so good.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot to look at in a burger, right? There's the texture of the burger, so there's the flavor of the outside, the kind of the crust, the sear on the outside.
Very important.
And then there's how can we adjust kind of that beefy hit, that kind of meaty beefy hit that you want out of a burger. So whenever anyone talks science, people tend to get intimidated, especially you throw out words you might not know exactly what they are, like umami or maillard reaction, things like this. And so we're just gonna break it down really simply so that you can use those techniques to make a better burger.
We got our lab coats. You got the master class. We'll make the master burger. What do you think?
Let's do it.
So as a chef and as a restaurateur, we like to use certain catchphrases, and umami is one of them. There's even a chain called Umami Burger. A lot of people don't know what umami actually is.
Up until fairly recently, people would actually have debates, is umami real or not? There's no question umami is an actual sensation your tongue can get. It's an actual taste. It's real. It's been proven.
You got sweet, sour, salty,
bitter.
Right. And then they say umami is the fifth flavor.
The term comes from 1908 when a scientist, Dr. Ikeda in Japan, was actually researching seaweed and dashi broth and figuring out why it was so savory, why it was so delicious. And he isolated the particular chemical that happens to be on here that provides that sensation, which is MSG.
Is MSG something bad?
It's 100% fine. You don't want to use too much of it because if you consume too much sodium, for some people it can be, a problem with blood pressure. And also, you can get dehydrated, you need to consume a lot of water, but MSG on its own, it's not bad for you. Chinese restaurant syndrome is just some racist garbage
I agree,
that
100%.
People put out, you know what I mean, in the 70s, and it's just kind of stuck with us. So if you support that, you're supporting racism. How about that?
Boom. All right, with that said, let's make an umami burger. It's one of my favorite things around. So in order to make the Parmesan frico, really, you just get a pan. I have it set at 325 degrees. You really just grate the cheese on top. What is it about Parmesan cheese?
So Parmesan is interesting. It's a grana, right? So it's an aged kind of a hard cheese. And that style of aged cheese tends to have the components in it that were in the milk break down quite a bit. And it's that breakdown in aging, that gives it its kind of big umami bomb properties. And it is one of the all-time great umami bringers.
This is about to crisp up, and then we'll scrape it off. Next would be the shiitake mushrooms.
Mushrooms are amazing because they have both kind of a savory umami hit and a meaty texture.
Earthy. A little pro tip as well when you're cooking mushrooms is you don't want to put too many in a pan. It has a lot of moisture in it, and then all of that water comes out and then ruins the texture of the mushroom. These take about 3 minutes on each side. In the meantime, let's grab this burger patty. Let's sprinkle some of this umami dust. And again, this is just porcini powder, salt, pepper, and then grated kombu. 2 minutes on each side. While we're getting this umami burger going, I'm gonna do a really quick umami ketchup. So we're gonna take this another notch and really just put about a teaspoon of fish sauce in there.
I've never been to the chain umami burger, but it's kind of like, you know, what do we like that's high in umami that we can go for? And you're like, okay, ketchup, yes. Fish sauce,
right.
yes.
Check.
When I eat burgers at home, I have the fish sauce on the table and we just dash it onto the top of the burger.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This is low and slow cooked onions. We've caramelized these for about, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours. We low and slow roasted tomatoes with salt and olive oil. Give the buns a little bit of a toast. So umami burger usually uses a Portuguese bun that they get specially made. A Hawaiian sweet roll is actually a Portuguese bun. A little bit of this umami ketchup on the bottom and on the top bun. You gotta do both.
Oh yeah, gotta do both.
Then we'll do the caramelized onions on the bottom. Top me with this Parmesan frico, a little bit of this roasted tomato, and one of these mushrooms.
And you order that way so that when the Parmesan shatters, it stays in there because the tomato holds it down?
Right. The umami burger, the Burger Show umami burger. Already, my mouth feels like awake.
Now notice also when you're dealing with something heavy in umami, it gives you license to pull out those kind of sweet flavors more, right? So if you didn't have as much umami and you had that much like sweetness from caramelized onions and from the reduced tomatoes and from the ketchup, it might be overwhelming. But because we have so much of that kind of savory hit there,
right,
it lets you go big all the way across the board.
Umami burger as a concept, umami as a thing is just, it's like peanut butter and jelly when it comes to burgers.
I tell you, like, I would like a beer.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right, so here we are, smash burger, the crispy, thin patty that you smash into a pan. When you see these food bloggers, you're like, ooh, the crust, the maillard. It's almost like another buzzword.
Right, so maillard reactions are super important. When you say maillard, it's actually a lot kind of more complicated than that. Maillard's complicated enough. It's like you get reducing sugars and you get proteins and you heat them, right? And you get these kind of brown, toasty, roasted, kind of meaty kind of aromas, roasted aromas. But in addition, for something like this, you're also getting texture differences. You're getting kind of dehydration, concentration issues, crunchy, crispy. And so we tend mentally to lump them all together into kind of maillard. To keep it simple, yeah, maillard, when you're making the maillard reactions, you're making those kind of awesome flavors.
Okay. This is probably the most common way of making burgers in America. It's a ball. You throw it on the griddle and you smash it. Like, why is that the case?
Let me get the board. So obviously when you're working high volume, the easiest thing to make with hamburgers is balls, not patties. It's a lot less steps, a lot easier to store, less likely to oxidize because it's not flattened out, right? But I think the key thing is, in most diners, you're not cooking in a pan. You can put oil into the bottom of the pan, and the burger can sit in that oil, and all the little nooks and crannies on the bottom of the burger
gets that crust.
Because the oil can hit all sides. This is why deep frying is kind of God's cooking technology, because it can get to all parts of the meat at the same time. And in fact, the rougher the surface is when you're deep frying or pan frying, the crispier it is. When you're on a griddle, if I put oil on When you're on a griddle, if I put oil onto a griddle, it will just run right off. You can't do it. And in a diner situation, when you're running all night, if you have oil, it's gonna smoke, it's gonna burn, it's gonna
nasty.
It's nasty, it's gonna wreck your hoods. So the easiest thing to do is to take
your stomach.
And you're gonna take a ball, put it on, and smash it flat. Now, once you have something flat on a griddle, if you have all those little bumps that's on the bottom of a regular handmade burger, this surface is never going to touch that. It's going to be blonde. And we've all seen like a piece of meat that has blonde patches in it because the person didn't get good contact between the pan or the griddle and the meat. And it sucks. It's unpleasant. So when you're forming this, you smash it flat. You have the maximum surface area in contact with your dry pan. So we have a situation where we're talking all about the crust. You're getting dehydrated, crunchy, crispy, flat things. And so it ends up being a very easy way to produce kind of an iconic style.
All right, let's fucking make one.
All right.
I'm doing the food god Kenji Lopez's version. We're cooking the bun. It's a Martin's potato roll. It's a New York standard.
Oh yeah.
These are 2 ounce or a little less than 2 ounce balls. You throw it on there, no grease. I have this really cool, heavy set spatula and a dowel. so you can push it and gets even pressure.
Yeah, and you look, because there's no actual kind of layer of grease for it to live in. If you hadn't pressed it, there's no way you'd get good contact between all of the patty and the pan.
So you hit it with pepper. You're not gonna touch this, you're gonna let it get crispy, and then we flip it. And again, we use this, industrial scraper, because you wanna scrape the bottom of this when you flip it over to get all that beautiful crispiness. We flip it over.
It would be a huge mistake to try to use one of those blunt, like plasticky spatulas, and this would just shred the thing across.
Yeah, or you'll just leave the good stuff on the bottom of the
Which is a
pan.
nightmare.
Put that on top, and let's melt the cheese, and let's use this really awesome tool that you invented called the Searsol.
This is a device I use to turn a torch into a broiler called a Searsol. This is so thin, it's gonna melt itself, but I actually like to kind of toast the cheese a little bit, so I'm just gonna hit it from two sides. I'm a two-side cooking man if I can be.
Throw it on there, put a couple of these pickles on top, and bam, there you go. You look at that, it's perfectly shingled.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this guy. I can eat 100 of these.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You would need to eat 100 of them. I mean, don't forget, a lot of these original diner burgers were built around allowing people to eat meat in an economical way.
Right. This is like a simple beat. The umami burger is more of a symphony of flavors. This is just more of one thing that just shines.
Right, but make no mistake, there is umami in that, and smashing it flat has gotten the kind of most umami we could get out of the meat that we have.
Right.
But like you say, it's more of a one pure note and not
Let's start with umami, since that was the first one we did.
It's super rich.
Right.
But, like I was saying, I don't know that that's your everyday burger.
Then you got the smash burger.
I think it's the most beef flavor with the least actual beef. So that's kind of a plus. If you're gonna multi-patty, it's the easiest one to multi-patty.
Multi-patty, yeah.
Say I was gonna eat a whole bunch of them. If I had to have one every day,
Right.
I would probably choose the smash burger if
Right.
I had to have one every day. And I think when I go home, I think about taking the best bits of each burger
Right.
and incorporating them into kind of a more hybrid style.
I still like the smash burger the best. So this wouldn't be a science burger show if we didn't freeze a burger with liquid nitrogen and smash the shit out of it.
Man, I've never done it. Let's try.
Let's do it.
All right. Ready? Yeah. All right, now.
Oh yeah.
Now, liquid nitrogen's minus 196 Celsius, so it's freaking cold. Ready?
I got my Thor meat tenderizer here.
1, 2, cold. Oh yeah! Oh! See, now look, bun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not anything
Meat,
else.
not so much.
Right.
I might call your spot pumping if you got crushed ice in a styrofoam cup with the refill right. So homie, word of your mouth until the next Philippe show. I'm out on the streets looking for something to eat.
Wow, we fucked your studio up.
Sorry, guys. What's up, guys? Alvin for the Burger Show. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. If not for me, for the burgers, please, and thank you.